Since the Sandbox fans, we're back. It's week 8. I beat Twan in a bet, and that was the only bet I won money on for the weekend.
Bro, that bet hit so quick also.
It did, yeah.
Good work. You won it. You texted me, you go, this is what I want. I'm like, got you.
I honestly wasn't going to, but I was just like, I would expect nothing less from him. So I'm like, I hope like this isn't like, oh, Steve's like really pushing it.
Yeah, he's rubbing it right in.
But bro, like it literally came down to that kick. Like, and you know what's even more crazy about that Green Bay Texans game? None of the wide receivers did well.
Dude, C.J. Stroud looked terrible. Like, he literally looked he went through like 3 quarters, like 5 of 11 for 44 yards.
Yeah. Also, I got spent a lot of time on the phone today with Gomes. Shout out to Gomes. We'll talk about him more later on in the episode.
Yes,
but he wanted me to put Ben on blast because he played Ben and Ben put up a measly 40 points in fantasy.
Ben, stop it, buddy. Oh no.
He was like, you need to please say something to your cousin on this episode.
That's punishment worthy. That's punishment worthy right there. Oh my goodness.
Man.
Benjamin, what are we doing?
Yeah, right. Tough week for the Pats, tough week for the Giants. Wow. But we're a week closer to the power ranking, so I know we're excited about that. And, man, these rankings are going to be all over the place.
All over the place. Things changed big time.
Absolutely. So. But with part of the injury news, I want to discuss this briefly. But let's talk about the injuries. Ayuk, down and out. Major injury. Like, there's going to be a timetable for, like, he might not make it back for the start of next season. ACL, MCL. And this is why players fight for their contract. Mm-hmm. So, like, I'm happy he got paid. Right. Sucky-ass scenario. This is what we expected for the 49ers, though. Like, for this all to kind of happen, like 100%.
This. It was like, and it's not a good thing, but, like, it's, dude, this is like the Super Bowl hangover, and it just comes in any way, shape, or form sometimes. Yeah. And it's like, they had delayed it for so long that it feels like it's kind of piling up. And, again, dude, I'm going to hold true to it. Like, I don't think the Niners are going to end up sneaking in the playoffs now.
Yeah.
I feel really good about that bet.
Debo just got out of the hospital today. Pneumonia and fluid in the lungs. That's crazy.
That's fucking crazy, dude. Everyone was sick. Popped up. Yeah, but apparently next day they were fucking partying. I'm done. Dude, I'm done. Clean house. Clean fuck. Keep Drake May. Start the whole thing over. Don't fucking
Belichick.
care.
Interesting.
Bring him back.
Interesting.
Bro, I got nothing but respect for that guy, though. Like, Bill Belichick is the fucking
Still
balls.
defending his players to this day.
Always to this day. Dude, literally, defends them better than Mayo does, defends them better than Kraft does. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Bro,
Jaden Daniels, huge. I mean, it's not a significant injury, thank God.
I don't think he plays this week, though. I don't think
know
Rib is something you bounce back
He's not in the rankings this week.
He's not in mine either.
Jonathan Taylor, not in the rankings this week.
Yep.
Even though division game like that, I think he'll be doing anything to come back.
Yep, I got no JT in here either.
DK, that's a week-to-week. That's a tough one.
It's a tough one.
David Montgomery came back in the game, but still. Juju, don't know when he's coming back. Sucky scenario for Aiden O'Connell.
Dude. Obviously, the ones from last night, like Evans and Godwin, are that's so tough for the Buccaneers, bro.
I know. I mean, not only that, I do want to talk about this a little bit more in depth. Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
This team, they're tied to him. Next 2 years, $72.9 million cap hit. So it's like, you can cut him. You're still going to have to pay him. So I don't know what the best scenario is on that. And I know that, like, you can really look at him like a piece of shit, like a bad person. But, like, to say that, like, he deserved that, to hear a whole stadium, like, chanting that,
dude, it's
I felt so bad. That's Cleveland people right there.
Mm-hmm. It's fucked, dude. It is fucked. Like, he's not – say whatever you want about the guy. Like, I'm not going to sit here and fight you on it. But, like, dude, you just don't – I don't know.
You don't wish a
lot of people that I don't like. Like, I'm not sitting there going like, yeah, I'm glad your fucking career's over and you know you're having a miserable life and you're gonna go into a deep dark depression because you're hurt. And
so now it's both ACLs and Achilles, 35 lawsuits.
Dude, you don't come back from like the injuries that he had. Like they piled up. It's like Rodgers had a bad injury last year.
Yeah,
multiply it by 10. That's what Deshaun Watson has right now. He's the Achilles. What was it, the MCL?
Yeah, the ACL.
Oh my God, dude, it's so bad.
Like, what if you're Cleveland? Like, not saying like he's your starter, because like you're obviously in a scenario where you probably have to draft a quarterback unless you see things from DTR that makes you say like, hey, like this is who we want to be like the next guy in line, or you keep DTR, Watson obviously on roster, and still draft somebody.
I think you still got to get because like DTR. from what we've seen so far, like it hasn't looked good once from DTR. Like he looked good in OTAs last year.
Yeah.
That's it. Like that's literally it. Just hasn't looked good at all. So
no, I know.
I mean, maybe this makes the Browns' decision a little bit easier where, like, Deshaun Watson isn't going to be able to play for the rest of this year, probably isn't going to play for at least half of next year based off the injuries that he's gotten. And, like, maybe it's just an easy decision. Well, yeah, we have to go draft a guy because now our hand is forced. We have to roll with DTR for a little bit at times. Maybe we sign a vet in the offseason. I just think they have to play for 3 years in the future now.
And you saw this team, like, they're already sellers, right? Like, Amari Cooper, like, he's gone. There's talks about Myles Garrett. And, like, even similar in the Rams scenario, like, I'm interested to see if Cooper Kupp plays Thursday because this is another guy that's in trade talks. And, like, I know that these are cornerstone pieces for these franchises that you're not, like, expecting to be moved or they're going to have their jersey in the rafters. Like, they're going to be there for their entire career. But it's the reality of the business. And I don't know if you saw what Julian Edelman's, like, comment was, like, about, like, all, like, Rodgers and, like, leaving and going somewhere else. He's like, it's not easy. Just because Brady did it doesn't mean, like, that it's, like, a thing that can, like, happen. And, you know, like, I get it. Like, it's the NFL's a tough business, man.
It's a tough business, and everything changes. Like, teams don't usually just pick it up. Like, Amari Cooper looked good. Like, he looked good. Devontae Adams got completely shut down outside of a couple small catches. Like, Aaron Rodgers has struggled with the Jets so far. It's just we're seeing a lot of these moves, and if they don't have that either full off season or if the organization isn't the right spot for them at that moment, we're seeing a ton of struggling. Again, that's what Edelman said. He said it perfect. It's like Tom Brady is the best of all time for a reason.
Yeah.
He's the only guy that can go do that and make it look like it's easy.
Yeah.
No one's ever going to make it look easy.
No, I know. Absolutely.
Except for Mahomes eventually, if that gets there. I'm sure he'll make it look fucking easy.
Interesting week. No bye weeks. No team has a bye during
so
week 8.
Weird, like
so
right
weird.
in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, let's start bye weeks in week 4 or 5, and then at week 8, nobody has one.
You think it has to do with the trade deadline to make sure, like, hey, this is the last week that you can see someone and then get a deal done, or this is like
I don't know. I didn't think about that, but like it could be. I was thinking more of like the London games. Like I don't know if like that has anything to do with it. I think teams have more say about when their bye week is because of the international games. Because you can choose like, hey, like if you go like the Vikings took their bye after going international. You know what I mean? So like I think it just depends on what the parameters are like with that conversation, what your next couple weeks look like. Like obviously it makes sense where they had the bye and now they're on Thursday Night Football. If they went from London to Thursday Night Football, like there's no way that would have been like
awful.
That would have been a competitive disadvantage. Like
100%.
Absolutely.
You're giving them an L.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the odds makers would fucking show it too.
For sure. Vikings and Rams on Thursday. That's gonna be. I think it'll be a good game at least for a half.
I think it's gonna be a good game.
Yeah,
I
mean, obviously, you know, you got Kev OC like returning versus the Rams. Yeah, you expect a guy like Kyron to have a good game, JJ, things like that. So we'll see what the injury report looks like. Potentially, TJ Hawkinson getting back this week, so we'll see how that all goes. Do have a couple of the waiver wire guys, and I have a couple more questions that we can discuss before we get into the rankings. So my waivers, if you didn't pick up Dobbs already, he the best football player on their team is probably Jaden Reed. But as far as like just a pure wide receiver, like he really does look like he's the best out of all of them.
Totally agree.
Like 8 catches, 87 yards, like that's consistent production. So you love to see that from him. Have to think that Mecole Hardman has to get a boost in production. With that whole scenario. Njoku, and then McMillan with the news of last night. Like McMillan, I'm putting $30 on him in my fab money, just to try and, you know, lock up a guy like that at week 8. Like that'd be huge. And you're talking about a top, like not a first round pick, but a top pick though.
Yep, 100%.
You know, so that's great talent. I don't know if you have any waiver guys.
Baker will find a way to throw the ball too. The other name in there is Sterling Shepard. I think Baker likes to find Sterling Shepard in these plays, but those are really like the Bucks were the highlighted guys. It's the guys that are backfilling the injuries that we're really looking at here. If you don't have him, if he's somehow on, there's no way he should be on the waivers, but he wasn't a flashy name in the tight end room. But like Kate Otten and Baker Mayfield are really getting together right now.
No, absolutely. So I mean that's a guy I almost considered dropping, and now like with everything coming out, like
or he starts
definitely not. Yeah,
because Baker will still sling that ball and he'll still have some success.
He's in the rankings this week. We'll hear about him real soon.
Baker or Otten?
Otten. Okay, well, both of them.
Oh, you got both of them in. Interesting.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, I gotta. My number 12 at quarterback's just one of those that you're like, well, I can see it, but like,
I mean, like I know like the Vikings and the Rams, like obviously like we're missing Sam Darnold from the rankings, but having everybody else available, like there were no restrictions on this line whatsoever. I want to talk about the Jets really quickly.
Yeah, good.
Vin, I'm sorry.
Stick a fork in
But no, not at all. I actually think you need to give them some time. Look, I know they're 2-5 right now, but I mean, fired their coach 2 weeks ago, brought in a new player. Look, I know like all this stuff is supposed to be automatic, and I'm not saying that they're gonna win the AFC East by any means, because I mean I don't even think I didn't think that at the beginning of the season. Like I still thought it was Buffalo. I
don't know what you're talking
about.
Yeah. I have no idea what you're talking about. Jets who?
But do I think like they could be a better team than like the Chargers or the Colts in the wild card? Like, yeah, absolutely. I do. So that's why like I'm not writing it off. I mean, we've also seen like at midpoint when everyone's like, oh, Aaron Rodgers, the RELAX. This is a much different scenario, but I just think like, hey, give them some time. Like the Garrett Wilson interception, like that was a crazy That's crazy.
That changed the tide of the whole game too.
Yeah, and then I mean I know both the interceptions happened on targets to Garrett Wilson, but like that was an even crazier interception with the one hand in the middle of the field by the dude Bishop. Like no idea. Like,
dude, he is playing some of the best football at the cornerback position right now. It's like
crazy.
Dude, wouldn't have even thought of him, and now I'm thinking about cornerback rankings, and he's like a name that I've written down already. It's like, oh, you got to keep him in fucking mind because he's a good sleeper.
How long can Kansas City keep this up?
I don't know, dude. How long can they? They can as long as fucking Andy Reid's in it. Because this year is not the year of, like, Patrick Mahomes, man. Look at this guy go. This is the year of, like, Andy Reid's out here cooking.
You know,
and it's not just burgers right now, man.
Yeah, I said this statement on Sunday, and I didn't hear a lot back. And obviously I'm sitting around a bunch of Patriots fans, so they're not going to agree with this statement. And you probably won't either. Name me a better defensive coordinator all time than Steve Spags. He's doing a great job.
Bro, I mean, I'm not gonna tell you it's like Patricia.
No,
it's not.
But look, like when you just look at his resume, in the teams that he's been a part of, there's got to be some common denominator.
As a DC, I will say now his head coaching stint didn't work at all.
It sucked.
Saleh was a great defensive coordinator.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm talking all time.
Dude, Spags is he's fucking killing it, man.
Yeah.
Like he's kept that defense under wraps without like one of their best players in L'Jarius Sneed, who had to go somewhere else. Like,
and call me crazy. I can't even believe I'm gonna make this statement. It reminds me of the Giants. Like it really does. Back in the day, like, hey, like when Spags like took over that defense, like yeah, they had their guys, right? They had Strahan, like he was a known commodity, but like everybody else kind of had like a little bit of a story to them. Like, so that reminds me of the Chiefs because they don't have like all the pieces, but the pieces that they do help keep everybody together. And like that's a unit in unison right now.
They are a team, and like that just goes to show you is like as long as you stick in the game, like the team will win. If you got a bunch of like studs that are all playing for themselves, like it's not gonna get you anywhere. It's Kansas City, as much as I fucking I hate them more than anyone you probably know, but they're a team right now and they're winning games. And it's not because any one player is like necessarily like they have great players that are standing out. Like Nick Polton's playing unbelievable top 5 linebacker in the league right now.
Yeah.
Like behind, dude, he might be 2 behind like Fred Warner or 3 behind Fred Warner, Roquan Smith.
He might be playing better than them, honestly. Roquan Smith's gonna get a little asterisk on him for last night because he's gonna be paying a hefty fine on the hip drop, for Godwin. But that my other 2 questions is like, what are your thoughts on the Steelers at this point? And like I don't want to say to write off San Fran, but like how do we even view them at this point?
I think San Fran's right around the 500 number. Might miss the playoffs, might barely. I don't think they do better than a 7 seed this year.
Are we seeing an AFC NFC switch right now?
Pitt's fucking legit, dude.
Yeah.
Pitt is legit as fuck,
yeah?
Dude. I'm dead ass.
With Russ?
With Russ, they looked even better, bro. And I know that teams can run on New York, and Devontae Adams doesn't fix that, so I get that. But, like, dude, Russ was playing really well. He was getting the ball down there. George Pickens looked like he cared more about football this week. Like, he did.
Yeah.
he was making plays that you're not used to necessarily seeing him make. Like, he was fighting for the ball. Najee Harris had the angry kinds of runs this week.
Did you see him in the postgame? I'm not going to mention anything.
No.
I'm going to have to show you a video after.
Okay. Like, TJ Watt's still playing like the best defensive player I've ever seen in my fucking life. Like, it's insane. Alex Highsmith's back, and they're cooking. That makes Cam Hayward's job easier. You got Joey Porter's going to get better every single snap he continues to have. Like, this team is playing really good, and they're doing it with insanely good football, methodical running, and just making the right damn plays. And they're a team that's in the market to go get another player. Imagine Cooper Kupp with the Steelers.
Yeah.
Holy shit. That's a Super Bowl contender if they get a guy like Cooper Kupp.
They haven't played the Ravens yet either, right?
They haven't.
Oh.
That's a good fucking game.
Ravens play the Browns this week. Ravens play the Browns this week.
They should smack them up.
Yeah.
Like, they really should smack them. I know I like to say the AFC North is super competitive, but I just can't see the Browns keeping games competitive right now.
With the quarterback scenario.
Jameis is going to start for them next week.
Think so?
He threw the touchdown.
No,
DTR did shit.
I know. We'll see. All right.
It's time, baby. I love doing that recap, though. Love doing that.
You have to.
Come on now.
You got to understand what happened last week so you can get into all this. So, tight ends. All right, it's on the list at 10. Dalton Schultz. I think, as long as Nico Collins is out, like, this is a guy that's going to get the targets. Obviously, the receiving options didn't look great last week for the Texans. I mean, Tank Dell put up a goose egg.
Mm-hmm.
Stephon Diggs talked his shit and literally looked like an idiot after the game for talking his shit. They lost and didn't have more than 27 yards, which is crazy. But Schultz has been getting a lot of targets. So I like him here at 10. And 9, this is where I have Pitts at Tampa Bay. This is a division game. I do expect it to be really closely. Atlanta got them the first time, so the Bucs coming off of a loss. I know that they're without some pieces. Maybe you just lean into like that backfield and you just rely heavily on them. So this is the best that I felt about Rachaad White because I feel like he's like a great pass catcher and they can put him in the slot. Yep. If you want to have McMillan and Shepard out on the outside. 8, I have Auten in that same game. I think both these guys can be pretty active and involved in the game. 7, I have Kraft going against Jacksonville. I think his yards are going to be huge for that team. If Wicks is still going to be banged up, Reed didn't perform like the way that he was expected to last week. And
don't I know it?
Yeah, I know. and I mean, I feel like Jacksonville's the team. They're going to be coming off like a big high, beating the Patriots, coming off the London thing. And, you get a team like Green Bay.
Yeah, you get that humble pie.
Oh, you're going to get it. You're going to serve it 2 times.
Yep.
In 6, I got Njoku. Not because I feel confident about, his play. I just feel like they need a receiving option there. And, like, he's their best option now. So, like, I know they have Judy, but, like, he's been quiet all year. So, I'm just like, I don't expect it to come out of nowhere. So, Njoku, I definitely feel like can, have enough production to be a top 10 tight end.
100%. And he's that safety blanket, too, where
Absolutely.
If you're going to go with DTR, he's the guy. If you're going to go with Jameis, he's going to try and find that easy option, even though he will throw 2 picks trying to throw it, 50 yards downfield. But
yeah.
10, I'm going to go with Laporta. He has not showed me what I wanted to see this year, but what I'm seeing from the Lions is, like, earlier this year it was like, go out there, get the wins, show everyone who you are. It's feed it to Montgomery, try and get Amon-Ra St. Brown, show them the new weapon in Jamison Williams, and now it's started to trend towards, hey, like, Gibbs has been a little bit overlooked in the offense in terms of like scoring and maybe like volume too, so they see him getting actively involved. I think they see that with Laporta, and now they're going to try and get him involved. It's just the Lions want to be a team that kind of spreads it out, and they want to make sure everyone in that organization's happy. And I don't think Laporta is going to be the guy to stand up and talk shit or anything like that. But I think that Dan Campbell knows, like, hey, let's try and get this guy more involved. I think Tennessee, while they have been good against tight ends, it's just like statistically in fantasy, yes, but it's just they're not that good of a team, and I don't see them covering Laporta, dude. Like,
no, I mean, it was impressive the first half that they played against Buffalo, but you just see that they can't keep up 4 quarters with a team like that.
They can't, and they will fall apart. So I like the matchup here for Laporta. 9, I got Kelsey. He's a good receiving option for that team, and I'm not putting him in the top 5. Fuck that guy.
I don't have Kelsey on the rankings this week.
Love it. You know what? Kelsey scrap. 9 empty. 8, Tucker Kraft. I think it was a very similar spot to where you had him. I love the matchup this week, man. Against Jacksonville, you can line him up in the slot, and slot guys are
big
fucking
Josh Jacobs
killing
week.
Jacksonville this year. Big Josh Jacobs week, I agree. 7, I got Trey McBride. He's getting targeted. He's getting involved. That's a tough game against the Chargers, but he did have one of those drives like last night that showed me, okay, this guy is a big focal point of the offense, and they are going to work on getting it to him. It's like, is it because he burned you on the bet?
No, I'm not that salty about it because it was a live bet, but no, I mean they just don't look good. Like
They don't. It's not pretty.
And I actually just saw something prior to the episode, and it was MHJ might be the worst first round pick since Kenyon Drake. And that was also with the Cardinals. And it was like, well, who the hell told you to draft Kenyon Drake in the first round?
I know. That's a fucking hot take. Listen, MHJ had a great first game was a dud. Then he had a couple good games in a row, and you're like, all right, this dude's him. And then it's back to kind of where it is. And I don't think it's an MHJ thing. I think they're just kind of struggling to find out what they want to do on offense.
Well, their identity, they don't have an identity.
They don't.
Yeah.
They don't. And COD comes out this weekend, man. So that team's got to get it together right now.
Unless they're doing team bonding on COD.
I know, literally. Kyler's like, all right, guys, we're all dropping. That's fucking psycho. And at 6, before I kick it back to you, I'm going Kincaid here. Could be higher. I think there's going to be a little bit of distribution of wealth from the Bills this week.
Absolutely. I just kind of feel like that's going to be their plan for success going forward. I have Kincaid here at 5, and I feel very similar. Maybe as Amari starts to get a little bit more acclimated, that the team can work in Kincaid and he sees a little bit better coverages. But I know Shakir is still going to be heavily involved. James Cook is still going to have his role, but it also seems like Ray Davis is carving out hey, I need to have touches here. Mm-hmm. Obviously he's not demanding that specifically, but his play is.
His play 100% is.
Yeah, so I mean, it'd be really tough in that scenario to avoid that.
Well, who'd have thought a team like the Bills last year that they decided they never wanted to run the football? The only time you saw success is when they could mix it in. Now they got an actual committee back there with guys like Ray Davis, James Cook, and then when you want to throw the ball a little bit more, you got Ty Johnson in there who can play the third down back.
Absolutely. At 4, this is where I have Fergie. Sunday Night Football going against San Francisco. I know Dallas is dogs 4.5 points. I kind of like Dallas. I don't know what I'm going to take yet for that game, but that could be an enticing money line because I know it'll pay. And the only games the Cowboys have won this year actually were on the road.
Ugly or shootout?
Oof, I don't know how you can have a pretty game with the way that these two teams are looking.
I know, but it feels like one of those that it should be ugly, and it's gonna.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, though, what's it gonna be like? Jawan Jennings and Rico Dowdle having huge games, huge weeks.
Jawan Jennings has shown us that he can have those weeks, though, and again, no one wants to see Ayuk go down and things like that, but I do think Jawan Jennings has a role in this team that he could shine, and I think he does complement Debo's play pretty well.
I know Kittle was also banged up, but he's day to day, with his foot injury.
He's a tough-ass dude. Yeah, he's not going to let you know he's hurt even when he's out there, though.
I know, until he gets carted off, too. I mean, obviously, I hope that doesn't happen. We want all these dudes to stay healthy. But, I mean, I know he's somebody that just continues to play, through injuries and things like that. 3 is where I have Ingram going against Green Bay. He's completely made Christian Kirk's role diminished for that team exponentially. I mean, him and BTJ, obviously. But, I mean, Brian Thomas, rightfully so, that's exactly what we expected out of Calvin Ridley last year. Mm-hmm. And Evan Ingram is just being who he was, and that's obviously deferring targets away from Christian Kirk. I actually just thought, Kirk was, the perfect complement to those two guys, but it just doesn't seem that they can really figure it out for him. 2 is where I have Bowers. I mean, I know it's really tough to not have him at 1, but, I have Kittle at 1.
Interchangeable 1 and 2 right there.
I mean, those are the only 2 bright spots at this position.
That's the thing is, it's what are you going to go with? Kittle's getting touchdowns, Bowers is getting catches and some yards with it and stuff, but, Kittle's also getting the yards, so it's what are you going to, those guys are the 1 and 2 guys in the tight end position, hands down this year. 5, I got Njoku. I know you had him at 6, so pretty similar spot. They're going to need a safety blanket over there. That's the guy. 4, I got Cade Otton. I think he's going to have a big week this week. I think he's going to be the main target, while I do think McMillan and Sterling Shepard get targets, and even Rashad White out of the backfield, and Sean Tucker, too. Bucky can catch the ball, but I think they want to use him more for running.
Yeah.
I think Cade Otton's going to lead the team in targets this week.
Okay.
I think he's going to have a good week.
I hope it's Rashad, but... He had, 10 targets, 7 catches, and 70 yards?
He was, and they were giving, that's the kind of thing, is the Ravens were kind of giving him that little dink and dunk there because they had the lead by so much.
But he eats it up. That's his forte.
And does it, because if he gets the ball and then he can move, he's not an easy guy to bring down. He's pretty shifty.
Absolutely.
3, I got Evan Ingram, exactly where you had him. I mean, this dude is the number 2 guy in the offense right now behind Brian Thomas, who made Christian Gonzalez look bad.
Yeah.
I'm not liking what I've seen from Christian Gonzalez the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, I was going to say 3. Who'd they play 3 weeks ago? It was Jaguars, and then it was
last week. It was the Texans, and he got burnt by Diggs multiple times.
Yeah, and then who they play the week prior?
It's hard when I'm trying to repress that memory.
Diggs, and then Miami. No, he was fine versus Miami.
He was fine against Miami. I think he got cooked by San Fran, though.
Yeah,
That might have been it.
Yeah.
It was San Fran. 2, I got Kittle. 1, I got Bowers. Like we talked about, those are interchangeable. Those are just the 2 best tight ends in the league right now.
Absolutely. Quarterbacks. This is a different list.
This is a different list. I agree.
Yeah. 12. AR.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't got him in here, but like I like it.
Okay.
I got
Richardson.
a crazy one for 12.
Oh, God. Oh, it's going to have Trevor Lawrence in here.
No. Nothing that zesty, bro. Come
on. No, with Anthony Richardson, look, it's a division game. Like, I think people are I don't want to say overlooking the Colts because they haven't really, like, impressed us tremendously. I'm sorry, Lou, but I'm just calling it how it is. But if they get Jonathan Taylor back, like, that obviously helps. I know he hasn't spread the ball out as well as Flacco has, but, like, Downs has still been productive. Pierce has been productive. I know AR and Pittman haven't really got that on lock yet, but we know that they can. I think people are just thinking, the Texans lost last week. They're going to be coming to win. They're going to blow out the Colts. And they very much can. I think the Colts are going to give them a hell of a game, and I think Anthony Richardson's going to play much better than people believe. So.
He plays well against the Colts historically, too.
Yeah.
Like, he's had a couple of big games. Like, last year, I think he
threw the deep ball, was it week 1 or 2?
Alec Pierce. That was it. Yeah, he threw it to Alec Pierce, so he had a good week 1. Last week, though, I think he was hurt for one of the games, and he played the other. Yeah. He looked good in the game that he played. I think he rushed one in, too. So I like it. Like it a lot.
Absolutely. So, AR 12. 11, Caleb. I don't know if I had Caleb on the list this week. I have him here at Washington. There's no Jaden Daniels. I think if he's playing Washington, he's still going to try and ball it and be like, hey, like, I'm that rookie too. But it does make me wonder with them on the road, like, how good can Mariota play? Mm-hmm. I know that they're going to try and run the football, but the Bears' defense has been kind of solid. So
all around, too.
Yeah. So that's, like, my interesting matchup of the week. Not really a game that I'm going to be touching, like, betting-wise, unless, like, if Jaden comes back and plays, they should be more than 2.5-point favorites. Mm-hmm. But it is still just a sloppy one.
If Jaden doesn't play, I'm going to take the Bears.
Yeah?
I just think it's one of those games where, like, a lot of people are going to listen. It's only 2.5. All they need to win is a field goal, and that's what Vegas does to trap you. I love that 2.5 line. I talked about it last week, and I do think that, Caleb Williams got a little chip on his shoulder. No one's talking about him at the quarterback position. I think it's going to be a tricky game. Not that Washington can't beat Chicago, obviously, but I do think Chicago's just going to I think this week they're healthier, and I think this week they're going to be more on track.
Yeah, absolutely. At 10, Tua.
Okay. I didn't know Tua.
Yeah, Tua's in the rankings. Look, if he plays, that entire organization's a different franchise. Mm-hmm. Which is wild to me.
Because what were we saying about Tua? What was everyone saying about Tua 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah, no, I know. It's so wild, but I have to have faith. Like, he's coming out here. He's talking his talk. I know the wide receivers have to feel, like, much better, like, about that. A-chain statistics drastically improve, like, when he's in the game, and teams just respect the pass, like, a whole lot more, and boy, do they need it now more than ever.
Who do they play again?
Miami is going against Arizona.
Oh, that's a good game, too.
In Miami, they're going to beat the brakes off of them.
That's a good matchup for him.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm taking A-Chan touchdown this week.
Are you?
Yeah.
A-Chan, that's a good matchup for him, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know about Tua yet, though. I'm going to let that stew for a little bit longer.
9. Josh Allen going against Seattle. I think this is a trap game. I think it has trap game written all over it.
You like Seattle?
I like Seattle.
I do too.
Home.
I did too.
Home versus Buffalo. I think Josh Allen's going to have some trouble. I think, like, this team's coming off a big win versus Atlanta. And, like, before that, they were on a huge skid. I think it's a huge Kenneth Walker day. I think he goes off, especially if DK's out. But up and up on Lockett and JSN if that's the case. Up and up anyway, honestly.
I think there's going to be problems for Buffalo, but I don't think it's going to be on the offensive side of the ball. I think the defense is going to have a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, I mean, they very much could. I think Seattle's defense is getting healthy, and that's when they were playing their best football.
Scary.
Yeah, and I mean
that front when it's healthy.
It's imperative for them too, though, because even if, like, the 49ers still have some players, like, let's say Debo and McCaffrey come back within the next 2 weeks, hypotheticals, of course. that changes like the outlook on that division. But I mean, you want to pull away from like the Rams, like you want to get away from like the Cardinals, like as far as you can. And I know it's not that far off, so all very important. 8, Geno right above him in the same game. I think Geno's gonna go off. I think this dude's gonna have a shit ton of completions, shit ton of attempts. I think Kenneth Walker is gonna have a day, but I still think this offense is ran through and through Geno Smith, and I think he's playing good football. I know people want to criticize his game, but if a lot of other teams had Geno Smith at quarterback right now, they'd have a drastically different record. If the Jacksonville Jaguars had Geno Smith, they'd have 2 more wins under their belt right now. Yep. No doubt in my mind. 7, I might have disrespected this dude. I know you talked about the matchup a little bit more. It was the Kraken. Yeah, on the floor. Yeah. You thought it was that. I
was just digging over here.
Yeah. What are you digging for, buddy?
Any fucking parlay one. What?
Yeah, right. Hey, we got to take it from you now. So 7 is where I have Jared Goff. So it might be a little bit low. I mean, I know the dude is like playing elite football. Just broke Jaden Daniels' record for a 4-game stretch with completion percentage. Playing lights out. I think the Jameson Williams suspension will impact that a tad unless they can find a way to get Laporta going. But, I mean, Tim Patrick's kind of been balling for them. So
And Khalif Raymond plays good football, dude.
Yeah. No, both of them. And I think, like, as long as they can keep this backfield healthy, like, their defense didn't look, like, too harmed from Hutchinson. I mean, just this week, I know things will be different. But, yeah, I mean, Jared Goff playing great football.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Love Jared Goff. You know I'm a Goff guy. 12. I was feeling spicy today.
Oh,
Bo Nix.
Wow, I almost did it too,
bro.
Almost.
I love that matchup for Carolina, man. I love that I love that matchup against Carolina.
Yeah.
I actually do think Carolina can keep them competitive, but I actually weirdly think we're going to see some points.
That's kind of why I stood away, because I'm like, is it too obvious that Denver's just going to come out here and like steamroll this team?
But I think like where Bo Nix gets a lot of those points is like he's gonna have 50 rushing. Like he's running the ball a lot.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
They have the kind of like I think you can beat Carolina very easily on these quick plays where like
their defense is probably so defeated at this point too. So
they don't want, especially if you get the ball out to a playmaker quick, which is what Bo Nix and Sean Payton want him to do. That defense is going to get even more defeated when they're like, oh, the ball's already out. We're not playing to try and make an incomplete pass now. Like now we have to all go tackle, and tackling is like it's an exhausting thing to do that people just don't talk about.
Yeah,
it's one of the reasons why Derrick Henry's so successful. They talked about it on the broadcast. He's like, I look to see who puts in the most effort.
Absolutely.
And those teams that put in the most effort, like they get a ton of respect from me. The teams that don't, I know I'm going for 200. Love
he
that. He
almost did on 2 runs yesterday.
Dead ass.
Said he burned me for 200.
Yeah, I know. It's all right. Hey, we're getting back in the win column.
That's right.
Matt Stafford here at 11. I think that you can throw on this Vikings team, and I think that it doesn't matter who the receiver is. Like, he's going to find ways to get somebody the ball. I think he can maybe throw a touchdown to Kyron Williams this week. There's a lot of ways that he can get the ball out. And 10 right above him, I have Sam Darnold. I think Sam Darnold it's a beatable defense for him. And even though they lost to the Lions, like Sam Darnold plays good football. So we got Darnold here at 10. 9, Caleb Williams. I think Caleb Williams is going to have a good week. I like the matchup for him. And like I said, I think if there's no Jaden Daniels, I think that puts a new level of confidence in the Chicago Bears. They go out and win this week, and I think Caleb Williams has a pretty good day. 8, I got C.J. Stroud. Might be low.
That is low.
Listen, Colts play tough and gritty. But that offense right now is running through Joe Mixon, and it's hard for me to look at C.J. Stroud have like multiple games this year where he's not even hitting 200 yards. And listen, I do think as far as skill for skill, talent, leadership, like he is up there with the elite of the elite. In terms of fantasy scoring right now, I'm not that confident in it, honestly.
Do you want to place another bet?
What do you think he does? What's the bet, I guess?
2 touchdowns for C.J.?
I don't think he can't get 2 touchdowns.
Okay.
That's why he's at 8. That's why he's not at 5. I think he get 2. I don't want to take that back because I think.
No, it's all good. I'm trying to continue my streak with you.
I really do. Hey, I'm just giving you fucking free money right now. So it's all right. And it's 7C. Before I kick it back to you, this guy had a fucking unbelievable game the last time he played this team. It's Kirk Cousins here at 7. He cooked Tampa. Yeah. Tampa's very cookable. Now, I don't think he's throwing for 500 again. I think they're going to be able to run the ball a little bit more when they play with what I think will be a lead for a lot of the game.
Do you? You think Atlanta's going to beat this team up?
I don't know about beat them up, but I think they're going to end up winning this game. I think that Tampa's too banged up right now. That is a locker room dampener as well. Like, to look at those 2 guys that have carried your organization this year and made
this year, 10 years.
Seriously, but like made you feel like
you can win.
You can go deep in the playoffs too, and to just have them gone down bad. It's not. It's just for at least the week. It's a locker room dampener, and I know you're going against a team. You're like, hey, they beat us up last week. I think that's a little bit of a mental disadvantage for them. It's like, hey, we already got beat up by this team, and again, we lost in overtime. I get it, but like they slung on us.
Yeah,
and I think they can do that again. So at 7, I got Kirk here. Not 500, but I can see 320, 2 touchdowns.
I was debating Kirk for that 12 spot with AR, and it's not to like disrespect Kirk. I feel like the past couple of weeks they've had struggles with dispersing the ball around to those wide receivers. And like obviously, with Drake London as like a 1, like he should be getting 6, 7, 8, 10 targets like a game. Absolutely. I do feel like that offense is best when Mooney's involved, when McLeod like is a guy that's catching it like as a drag or like a slant, and like he can just run after that.
If Pitts gets his one-on-ones,
yeah,
that's when they look better.
Absolutely. So I don't have him here. I am expecting Tampa to win this game.
You are? Okay.
I am expecting Tampa to win this game. I mean,
this is the one.
Not going to do it.
You're not going to do it? Okay,
yeah, not going to do it.
We'll find it.
Yeah, we'll find it. We'll find it. No, it's a close division game, so it really can go any way. I just feel like everyone in the world is probably thinking the way you are, defeated. And I also know it wasn't too long ago. Was it 3 weeks ago when Atlanta just beat them, and that was a really close game too. So I'm expecting, even with their weapons that they have, to find a way to get it done.
Interesting. Okay.
6 is where I have Stroud. I actually think Stroud goes off. Yeah, I think everyone in the world is looking at Mixon like, oh, he's the guy. And I think the Colts will, I don't want to say like focus on that, but they're not going to win that game if they don't find a way to limit Joe Mixon. Sure. So I just think Stroud can. I think the Colts can tighten up in the red zone on running the football, and I mean if Stroud throws 2 passing touchdowns on you, then like, what are you going to do? So I think that can happen. I think he gets above 250 as well. 5. Baker going against Atlanta. I think he's going to have to sling. I think he's going to have to run. I think Otton's going to have 7, 8 targets. You talked about that. McMillan is a guy that I kind of have some faith in. Like he's not going to go out there and do what Mike Evans or Chris Godwin does because those players are both 1 of 1. Do I think like he can go out there and be good enough for them to win a football game? Like, yeah, I do. They're going to have to play time of possession. They're going to have to run the ball effectively, and they're going to have to play near perfect defense. But it can happen. Absolutely. 4, Jordan Love going against Jacksonville. Love the matchup. Expected a huge week from him last week. Wasn't the case. They still got the win. That's a big win. And I told you, man, CJ's real tough on those NFC matchups. And I just think, like, that Jordan CJ was already giving us flashes of, like, what we can expect for years to come. So love that. It got me real excited. 3, Joe Burrow. 2, Jalen Hurts. Think there's going to be points scored in this one. I think it has to be the case. Huge day for Chase. Huge day for Brown. Like, I still want to say Saquon has a little bit of a better day, but maybe he just gets, a goal line carry. Devonta Smith is not going to put up a goose egg again.
Dude, Saquon ate this weekend, man. It was just like, you did. You nailed it 100%. And he did it, dude. He did it pretty much all on the ground. Like, he did it all on the ground. So.
176 of his 186 yards on the ground.
But I like seeing, like, the respect after. He goes, dude, like, it is what it is. I'm happy here. I got to see a bunch of my buddies, got to come back and play here. Like, I'm not going to sit here and talk shit the whole time. Like, it's just...
Giants fans should not be burning his jersey, though.
No, 100%. That's fucking disgusting.
Yeah, they should be burning MetLife Stadium.
Yeah, they should.
Jets fans, too, so you guys partner up on that.
I know. Yeah, you guys take it down.
Yeah.
Why not take the whole area down? I drove through that place. Gross.
Yeah. I know. It's on the other side of the bridge, so it's a little bit different, but, like, yeah, it's not...
It was very gray on my drive. That's what it was. Super bland.
Oh, it is. It's very gray.
Felt yucky.
Every time. And one's Lamar Jackson. I mean, I don't know how I can't.
He's a bad dude. He's the best right now. He really is.
Dude, honestly, he's the MVP favorite.
He literally, I was just thinking that. I was thinking last night, and I was just watching because Henry had Lamar Jackson and Zay Flowers left, and I was up like 80. So like I think it was okay. But and he had McBride too. So it was getting dicey, but. Like Lamar's going off, and I'm sitting here. I'm like, is this dude gonna have his fucking 3rd MVP? And everyone was calling him a running back. Insane. And guess what? He runs the football, but he's throwing for 5 touchdowns.
He's never ran the football better in his life,
bro. Never. This kid, he looks like the best. My buddy Gerard, shout out Justin Gerard, told me at the beginning of the season, he goes, dude, I just had a future for like the Ravens to win the Super Bowl. It just feels like every year they get better and better. After 2 weeks, we're talking about it, and I'm like, dude, I was picking my team. I was like, I was on the Texans. I think they're the best team out there. He goes, dude, honestly, I still think it's going to be the Ravens. And here we are a couple weeks later. He's dead on balls accurate. The Ravens are fucking scary.
Home field advantage going to be huge. I think it's going to be Bills, Ravens in that AFC. I mean, I don't want to count out the Chiefs. I just don't know how that's going to go down for another 15 weeks.
When you're consistently playing the best team every time, you're not going to scrape them all out. Like, you're not going to scrape them out against all of the best teams that are in the playoffs.
Next couple weeks will be telling. I know they'll have a bye week coming up. Like, I just don't even see them trading for, like, crucial pieces to, like, change things, you know?
No. Because, I mean, that might be their downfall, too, is, like, things look so okay right now that they're winning games that they might not make a move that they may need to make.
Yeah. Well, I was also hearing, like, murmurs. Like, I heard Adam Schefter talk on McAfee on Monday, and he was saying, like, Mahomes, like, throwing to, like, the guys, like, he's comfortable with. So, like, if they were to do something like that, it would be for more of, like, a DeMarcus Robinson on, like, a Rams team rather than, like, a Mike Williams who, like, you have no idea how to play with, you know?
Right.
So, definitely something that I feel like left a mark for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a good one. DeMarcus Robinson actually fits very well because he's been there.
Yeah.
Steve, I'm going to say it right now. This week in fantasy football, this past week, it didn't feel like there were a lot of points going around. Like a lot of the top scores, like our top scorer was 130 in one of our leagues. Our top scorer is usually like 140, 150, something like that. And everyone else was like 125 or less.
Injuries piling up.
Injuries are piling up. I think this week there's going to be points galore all over the place. And I'm going to hit you with Brock Purdy here at 6. While they do have some banged up guys, I think Brock Purdy's going to find a way to still throw for 250 and get some touchdowns. Pearsall's going to be good. Either whoever's going to play one, if Debo finds a way to get in the game, or if it's Jawan Jennings, I think both of them play well. Pearsall is a sleeper. I think you're going to see a good game from Jordan Mason this week. I just think they're going to play well-rounded football. But
Mason
Purdy
and
might use
Hunt,
his legs.
I'm going to be taking those dudes to score every week.
Every single week.
Yeah.
And Purdy can move his legs, too. Like, Purdy rushed a touchdown last week, so don't sleep on that as well. 5. Now, I can't believe I'm thinking that this might be low, but I have Burrow here at 5. I think he slings, and I still think he gets 25 points. But when I'm looking at this, I think we're going to have multiple 25-point quarterbacks this week.
Yeah.
Burrow's Burrow's one of them. Jordan Love at 4. Jalen Hurts at 3. So those guys are all
Hurts is
very
so volatile on this list, dude.
So volatile, dude. He's like literally, but when he gets the matchup that he's supposed to thrive, it's like if his receiver's going to get one-on-one coverage, they're going to win, and that's when you're going to get big games from Hurts. And I think that's just what we're going to see this week. Like Cam Taylor-Britt isn't sniffing AJ Brown. Like not even
AJ and Chase. I'm packaging them in a parlay.
100%. Alt receiving yards for like 150 just to get a plus money thing.
Yeah.
Love it. I got Lamar at 2, and I put Josh Allen at 1. So
wow.
Totally get what you mean. That I also think that the Seahawks can snipe this game. I don't think this is going to be an offensive side of the ball problem. I think there will be points in this game. I think there is going to be a defensive problem this week, and you said it perfectly. Kenneth Walker's going all over the yard.
Yeah.
Zach Charbonnet might get in the end zone too this week. No Gike. Again, that's one of your biggest guys. No, he's gone, but I got full confidence.
We don't know that for
JSN.
sure yet, but I mean, I think like if they call him week to week, like how is he going to play this week?
100%. And I got full confidence in JSN and Lockett, full confidence.
Absolutely.
And I think Geno does too, and I think that's the important. Bobo is like played enough this season that like again, he's not going to flashily like he's not going to win the game for you, but he's going to make the plays that put you in positions to win.
Absolutely. Running backs. Oh, this one's different.
Is it?
20.
I get a pretty basic one.
Javonte.
20 Javonte.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, after having the breakout game on Thursday, not like a breakout game for his career, but like this season, that was by far like his biggest game. It doesn't. I want to say that it doesn't sit right with me, just like putting him right in the rankings and thinking he's gonna put up 30 again. But I mean, with this matchup, do I think he's gonna give you 10? Like, yeah, I absolutely do. And like, let's consider 20 in the rankings. Like, 10's pretty good for 20 in the rankings. So, with all that being said, I do think like that they win. But there's something about that game that just really is like turning like my stomach like a little bit.
I was submitting my Survivor this week, and the Broncos are allocated 31 points. The Panthers are allocated 32. I'm like, do I just pick the winner?
Yeah.
And I sat there. I'm like, dude, I can't. Like, if I'm gonna pick an easy one. I actually took the Falcons, so it's not an easy one.
But you're gonna sweat that one, buddy.
I feel okay.
You couldn't pick like the Packers or something.
they're not worth enough. They're worth like 5 points. And I'm like, I'm trying to like climb back up the ladder because I took a really safe one in Buffalo this week because I didn't like any of the matchups that were big names and big numbers. Because I was looking, I'm like, does Tampa upset the Ravens? I'm like, what am I doing here? Let's make it to next week. Let's let these other guys get their X's because it's the one that's 3 X's and they're out. So I'm trying to like outlast some of these people, but now I'm looking, the guy in first place has 0 X's. He's got 157 points. I'm like, I'm not catching him. I'm playing for second or third. The winner gets like $2,500. I'm like,
yeah. Wow. Holy shit.
I blew it.
19, Kamara. Don't love the matchup. Don't love his fantasy value with everything going on there. Honestly, I think it's going to be more of the same of what we saw. Do I think he can sneak in the end zone? Like, yeah, but I'm really not too confident in it. 18, Najee versus the Giants Monday night. The Giants don't win on primetime football, so we'll take it, buddy.
Yeah, he's gonna enjoy this one.
Yeah, yeah, take it, dude. 17, B-Rob versus Chicago. I don't know, like, how Washington's gonna proceed with the whole like Jaden Daniel news. Like, are they gonna just try and like take it easy for a week? Because this dude's been questionable up until Friday, like the past 2 weeks. I'm like, they sit him, and they just gonna go full rest and like sit B-Rob too. Was an interesting kind of thought of mine, but if not, like with Mariota out there, all the more I expect him to get like in the end zone. So I think it'd be more B-Rob than like McLaurin. Even Eckler would have like a little bit of an uptick as well. 16, Swift going against Washington. I just feel like they're going to try and control the clock. If they're going to score some points, there'll be a lot of screen passes to him. He's been playing pretty solid. 15, Gibbs, a little bit low. Him and Monty both behind 10 in the rankings this week. I just really think like Tennessee did like pretty decent at like stopping the run last week, like they did. So, I mean, I know Detroit's a drastically different football team. Like if they can't run the football. But the way Jared Goff's playing, like I don't know if like you want to test him like in the air. Honestly, like he's playing really good. 14, James Conner. 13, Monty. So those two guys, touchdowns, put them in double digits. If not, they have a really high floor. But it could be interesting the way it goes. I've rode a Conner touchdown the past couple weeks, and like
That's why I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm fucking done with the Conner.
But I had him last night for 75 rushing and receiving, and he got that. And I had him for over 12 receiving yards, and he got that. But everything else in the parlay, of course. Yeah. 12, I have J.K. Dobbins. He didn't score this last week, and I was kind of shocked by that versus the Cardinals defense. So versus a team like New Orleans, I will absolutely be putting him in a big parlay to score. And 11, I got James Cook. I think he can get in the end zone too. But I'm interested to see how the game script goes because however the Bills' offense is going dictates how many touches this dude gets. Yep. So,
love it. 20, Javonte Williams, same exact thought. Just it's a beatable defense. I think he can get some points. 19, I have James Conner. It's just he's so hot and cold for me. The Arizona Cardinals are so hot and cold. I don't feel comfortable putting him above some of the other names here. At 18, I'm going to go James Cook.
Okay. Wow. You kind of agree.
Yeah, there's the implementing of Ray Davis, and it's not like a crazy change, but I look and I'm like, dude, I just said I thought.
Where
this guy
was he?
14. So it was a little bit of a move up, but who knows? Maybe I'm getting a little spicy here. Yeah, at 18 I have James Cook. Again, I think he's going to play well, probably 13 or so points. But I just don't like the volume that he gets out of the backfield entirely all the time. And with Ray Davis getting incorporated, again, this is going to be a crazy game. I think they're going to sling a lot, and I think they're going to look for Amari. I think they're going to look for Shakir. I think they're going to mix in Kincaid. So distribution of wealth here. It's just going to hinder his points a little bit. 17, I got Najee. Very similar to where you had him. I just think he's going to scramble, have a good game. 16, Brian Robinson. Very similar thing. Tough defense. 15, I got Monty, so a little bit lower than where we generally have him. I think Gibbs is the guy in that offense right now, especially against Tennessee if they do want to throw the ball a little bit. 14, so this is where I'm going to have Josh Jacobs.
Swapped him.
I did swap him. Now, Jacobs could arguably be higher, especially against a really bad Jacksonville defense, but there's going to be some points scored in the air this week with Jordan Love, and I'm just keeping that in consideration because while Josh Jacobs did catch his first touchdown, I don't think that's going to happen again. So I think we're going to see a lot
in
from
his
Jordan
career.
Love. No, definitely not this week. Definitely not this week. Catching a touchdown. I mean, that was the first one he had in his entire career.
In 2,400 snaps, I think it was.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah,
that's insane work. But he is one of the best runners of the football that we've had consistently over the past couple of years. What was it? 13. I have Jordan Mason here.
Low.
But you know what? I really like some of these other names this week too. I like Jordan Mason a lot, but I really like some of these other names. And like we talked about, it's point scorer this week. Jordan Mason's getting 16 to 18 here at 13. 12, I got Devon Achane. I'm dicey with the Dolphins still, so I'm going to wait until I know Tua's good enough to really go. Like, I want to see Tua play well and see that his game has not changed permanently from the amount of shit that he's taken. So I got him here at 12. And 11, I got Aaron Jones.
Okay. Aaron Jones, obviously not on the rankings this week because of Thursday Night Football, but great play. 10 is where I have Jacob, so, I mean, it's not too far off, but I do just think, like, he gets 120 yards this week going against a team like this. And, look, he's not going to get, like, the big chunks that, like, D-Hen gets when he rushes for, like, 60, 80 yards on a play. But hold on. Timeout. Real quick. What is up with all these running backs busting it for, like, 70-plus and not scoring?
That happened a lot. That happened with D-Hen.
Yeah. No, but not even just, like, Derrick Henry. Like, all these, like, J.K. it's happened to, like, all these running backs.
That happened to Saquon once.
Happened to Saquon?
Yeah.
What is going on?
I don't know. Are they getting that gassed out when they get there, or are they just trying to, like, get down and maybe run another play and kill clock? Because, like,
I don't know. What are you talking yourself into?
I don't know. I'm trying to, like, come up with logic, the
yeah.
definition of insanity.
Yeah.
It's going to keep happening
Yeah.
and act like there's a reason to it.
I don't know. Yeah, it's crazy. Brees Hall, another one, and,
Yeah.
then they go and put Braylon Allen
Yeah,
in.
Brees Hall does that and cucks everyone after.
Yeah,
Bullshit.
absolutely.
Fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy.
9, Mason going against Dallas. Like him to score. Like him to have over 100 scrimmage yards. Going to be a huge day for him versus Dallas. 8 right above it. Achane, I think it's an even bigger day. Might be two in the race. I think as long as Tua plays, this team's going to be trying to prove everything that they couldn't the past 5 weeks. And I think they're going to put up a shit. I don't think it's going to be 70 points. I think they're going to put up 40 if Tua plays.
How confident are you that Tua's going to play? I know he said it a lot.
I'm like 90% that he's going to play. I'm going to proceed with the week as such until I'm proven otherwise, which reminds me, in the family league, I have him in my IR spot. And
you got to make sure you pull him up before Danny gets up your ass, dude.
Before I get vexed from my family, I got to make sure I take him out of
That's for you, Danny.
At 7, I have Kareem Hunt. Look, like, he's going to be the only star in their offense. I can't call Travis Kelce is a Hall of Famer. I can't call him a star this year with the way that
100%.
he's playing. But Kareem Hunt, he is. Crazy to say, off the couch, automatic star.
He looks like fucking rookie Kareem Hunt when he was back in KC again. Like, he looks like the Kareem Hunt that made my life as a Pats fan that one game.
He
really
doesn't
bad.
look as fast, but he looks stronger, like, no doubt in my mind. 6, Kenneth Walker could be a little bit low, just giving Buffalo a little bit more respect. 5, Saquon against Cincy. I mean, 5 is even low for where that guy should be. 4, Bijan. I mean, he puts up 100 a week. It's a given. It really is. 3, Mixon. So I'm with you on the whole Mixon train. Big week 2 weeks in a row. So I hope it can continue.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it does to that extent.
It's the NFL. Like, teams are preparing for it.
2, sorry, Brees Hall.
Dude, it's fine. The Jets are -7.5, and that is the lock of the week.
Yeah.
They are going to shit all over a deflated, shit-talked Patriots team.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And then D-Hen won.
Best
I
running back
don't even need
I've
to
ever
say
watched.
anything
Dude,
else.
if he's not fucking in the Hall of Fame, like, I want everyone's head on a stick.
I had this conversation last week, and I would love to hear you guys' thoughts in the comments. Derrick Henry is going to change the way running backs are valued going forward, because there's not going to be another running back that's as durable, that has the longevity. I mean, this is a guy that's 10,000 yards and 100 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else is going to do that.
I don't know if this take is that hot or not. Dude, I watched Derrick Henry play, and when I'm watching him play, dude, it feels like he's having these, like, performances that make me more impressed with Derrick Henry than I was with Adrian Peterson.
Really?
Dude. And he's going. Bro, that's a conversation to have because AP, again, dude, he was so effective in the passing game, too, and, like, different kind of back. But Derrick Henry, like...
I wouldn't even say that, though, because at the back end of his career, like, teams, like, stacked the box when he was on Washington and Seattle.
He was still... I know, he was still having those games, but, like, dude, I think Derrick Henry can actually do this into, like, his mid-30s.
Oh, I don't know, man.
Bro, I'm just saying, we talked about at the beginning of the season, I don't know if Derrick Henry's going to be able to make the 1,000 yards this year. Like, he's just going to be there to be effective and help them go. Dude, he's, like, almost at 1,000 yards right now. He is he at 1,000? No, he can't be.
No, not yet.
He's
gotta be close, though.
Close, dude. And then if there is the slightest hole, he hits it, and no one's bringing him down. Like, no one one-on-one tackles Derrick Henry.
It's just tough to say that any secondary player can tackle him one-on-one.
It is. It's impossible. Ryan Clark knows he can do it, but Ryan Clark might be able to, like, actually get him. But you finished with Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
We'll get us back on track. My bad. I went with a piping hot take there.
Yeah, that was.
I'd be curious. I don't know, dude.
People, let us know,
bro. I don't know. I'm big on Derrick Henry right now. But 10, Kyron Williams.
You're a big recency bias guy, though.
I do. It gets me big time. It does get me it gets me big time. 10, I got Kyron Williams, Thursday game. Listen, I know you don't do it, but I think Kyron Williams is going to have a good performance. I'm sure he'd be in your top 10, maybe even top 5. But, you know, Minnesota does pose some problems for running backs at times, even though they didn't last week. 9, I got Kareem Hunt. Tremendous player. Played really good. Fits right back in there in Kansas City. And he's really one of the best players on their offense right now with everyone banged up. 8, J.K. Dobbins. I think this guy's going to scramble this week, and I think he's scamper this week. I think he's going to go everywhere, go off. 7, Jahmyr Gibbs. I believe it.
Differently.
Yeah, dude, I feel a little bit differently, and I think if they're going to want to use the pass a little bit more against Tennessee, I think Jahmyr Gibbs is the back that's going to be in there to do it. He moves them downfield, and I just feel like they're going to beat this team by being able to get to the outside. 6, I got Breece Hall. He's going to cook us, dude. But I'm looking here. I got Kenneth Walker above him at 5. I got Bijan Robinson above him here at 4. Joe Mixon at 3. D-Hen at 2. I got Saquon at 1.
Wow. Where was that last week?
I don't know. Who did I have at 1 last week?
No, it wasn't Saquon, yeah.
Kyron Ball.
Yeah, I mean, he did, but not more than Saquon.
Saquon, fantasy points?
Yeah. Bro, he had 176 yards.
And 1 touchdown. Didn't Kyron get in the end zone twice?
Yeah, but still, that's 12 points. What did he put up for yards? All right, get it.
Yeah,
you got to fact check.
I got to fact check this. Saquon for fantasy points in PPR scored 26.7. Breece Hall 26.1. Motherfucker. Kyron 19.6. All right, I suck.
Yeah, that should have been the bet right there.
Yeah, that was it. There's your free $25 parlay. That is gonna be a fucking lock. Yeah, Saquon at 1 this week. I think he cooks.
Wide receivers. I have neighbors at 20. I wish I could have him higher. It's tough with Andrew Thomas out. Like, this is what I expected from the Giants. I said it last week on the podcast. I hope you guys listened when I said to take the Eagles with whatever. I'm an asshole because I was going back and forth with myself before I put my bets in last week, and I was like, I had Saquon for 2 touchdowns and a bunch of them, and I mean he definitely should have had it, but Hurts ended up having 2. I put a lot of money on a straight touchdown for JK just as a single. I should have did it for Saquon, and then when I won, put it on JK. So I got myself there, but I also knew I wasn't depositing again on Monday, so I was like just trying to spread my shit out. But I'm like, I'm thinking like too much into this shit. I'm like, you know what? Just get the wins. That's all that matters.
That's what it is. That's all that matters. Gambling is, if you get the wins, that's really all you need to care about. When you get too cute with it, that's where you're like, oh, now I'm trying to like, because that's what the problem I'm running into right now is like, I'm trying to fucking beat Vegas. I'm like, who the fuck do I think I am that I'm going to go out there and outsmart Vegas?
Yeah.
They have a time machine. They already know what's going to happen.
You take it for the 4 or 5 weeks it happens, and the rest of the weeks you're questioning whether you should continue gambling or not.
Yep.
So where you were at the beginning of October, that's kind of where I would. And it was only one bad week. It was literally Monday, Thursday, Monday. That was literally the bad stretch for me. But it makes it feel like it was a whole season.
Especially because we come on here and we talk about it to everyone.
Yeah.
Legit. Listen, we're going to be wrong sometimes, guys. Shit happens.
Neighbors at 20. 19, I have Lockett. I don't have DK in here. Don't have JSN. I think Lockett would be the biggest beneficiary. I think he plays better at home, too. I know that's kind of crazy. But I just kind of feel like that's Lockett's game. Definitely expect an uptick in targets for sure. Keenan Allen going against Washington. Like, I just kind of feel like him in Williams are gonna be able to find like their stride soon. I know like Moore is also like a huge target there, but like I mean those two guys, Kansas City would love to have one of those two guys right now. 17 Pickens. I mean like if Russ is really gonna be throwing the ball like that, Pickens has to be in this lineup, and I guess like that's the difference of Justin Fields to him. 16, long as he plays, Zay Flowers. I know Bateman caught the bomb last night, but I mean, it was so weird because I thought Zay was like actually banged up last night, and he just got taped up and got put right out there. So that was absolutely wild. 15, Garrett Wilson. He's going to get more respect because they're going against the Pats, and if their number 2 corner can't cover Garrett Wilson, whoever it is. But interested to see what that distribution looks like between him and Adams. Adams is on the list a little bit higher. 14, I have Waddle. Expecting them to play, expecting them to score points. One of the 2 wide receivers is going to score. I do just think Achane has a huge day, so we'll have to monitor the way that goes for the rest of the week. 13, DJ Moore. Talked about that with Keenan. 12, Devontae Adams. 11, T. Higgins going against Philly. A lot of yards to go around in that one.
Love that. At 20, I get 2 guys written here. I'm going to pick on the spot. I'm going to go with Jalen McMillan here at 20. So my other guy in there was actually Tutu Atwell, just off of some crazy shit. Like, he's just getting targeted, like he's making plays, and Matt Stafford likes to throw to him. But I'm going to go Jalen McMillan here at 20. Diggs at 19. I think he's going to have a good game. I think he's going to get right.
That's a little low, buddy.
Hold on. I told you, just mix it. Mixing's cooking this week, all right? Just watch. Terry McLaurin here at 18.
Buddy, you said that last week.
It is what it is. Listen, we're week to week at recency bias. This is what it is. 18, Terry McLaurin. Listen, I understand it's going to be tricky with Mariota's in there, but I do think he'll have a couple one-on-ones. They'll give him a jump ball. They'll try and get him some plays, and I think it's just going to be the easiest option for Marcus Mariota to throw the ball, so I think he'll make a couple plays this week. 17, I got Rome Odunze. I think he's going to have a pretty good game this week against
so that
a
means
beatable
no
defense.
Keenan?
No Keenan. There is a DJ Moore coming, though.
Go DJ.
16 and 15. I got 16 Wilson, 15 Adams. I think they're both going to have pretty good games here, but I think there'll be some disbursement, and I think they're going to beat us everywhere this week. So
you know what Rodgers is
gonna
going to do?
that.
He's going to go back to the huddle and he'd be like, Garrett, I'm not getting to you first, but you'll get yours later on. Don't worry, buddy.
Dead ass.
Yeah.
Dude, dead ass. 14, I got DJ Moore, so again, nothing too crazy, but I think him and Rome Odunze have a very similar day, a good day. 13, I got Zay Flowers. 12, I got Darnell Mooney, another one of the doubles that I have in here. I got a couple doubles, Steve.
No Mooney, but I love the pick.
I mean, he played so well against Tampa last time. I think he's just going to do it again. And 11, I got Brian Thomas Jr. I mean, listen, outside the top 10, yes, I get it. It's a little dicey, but I think he's getting the Jair treatment this week, so could be difficult, but said that about Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah.
So, Brian Thomas, I think he's a stud. I think he's the guy in that offense.
No, I mean, he definitely is. I just do think, like I saw what that matchup did to a more promising receiver in Diggs and decided to go otherwise. 10, I have Tank Dell. I think it's going to be a huge Tank Dell and Diggs week, and they're both in the top 10 this week, so that just kind of goes to show you how confident I was in C.J. Stroud, and that's why I was willing to put my money there. Yeah. 9, Devonta Smith going against Cleveland. I can't see. Look, I know he had a huge touchdown last week, so like they were probably like, hey, like it was just Saquon's week this week. But I definitely think that like Devonta's due for another big one. 8, Jaden Reed. I mean, like, he's so good. Like, I'm so confident with him getting the yards, but like the touchdowns is like the wary part there. If he doesn't score one from like 30 plus, like he doesn't really get like the red zone targets like
it
that.
goes to Wicks a lot in the red zone.
Yeah, which is so strange to me. It really is. 7, I got Diggs right above him. I think Diggs is due for a big one. Colts are banged up in the secondary. 6, not skipping your name this time. Not skipping your name this week. Amon-Ra. Here you are.
There you go.
No Jameson. I feel like we're going to see Amon-Ra get a little bit back to what his norm is. And like we haven't really seen that this year, obviously, this past week. He kind of got right. But let's see that 8 to 10 targets. And let's see you a little bit motivated on those picking comments, too, because George Pickens is in no position to be talking the way he's talking. Absolutely not. Not to a guy like Amon-Ra.
But he plays with Russ one game.
Yeah, absolutely. Tyreek Hill here at 5, bro. I'm confident in it. I really am. I think Miami's going to win this game handily. I really do. 4, Drake London going against Tampa Bay. There it is. I think he has a solid week. 3, CD, San Francisco. I think CD lights them up. I really do. And like I said, I think Dallas wins 2. Brown, A.J. Brown going against Cincy, and one is Jamar Chase. I think both those guys. I think it's literally going to be a wide receiver duel between those two guys.
I think the
play.
twos are going to go at it too, though, and
Yeah.
that's why you got them both in the rankings.
Absolutely.
Steve, at 10, I got Jaden Reed. Listen, I think he's going to get in the slot a couple times, and I think he's going to get his big touchdown this week. Jacksonville is the worst team in the NFL against receivers in the slot, so I really like that for Jaden Reed this week. 9, I got T. Higgins, and 8, right above him, I got Devonta Smith. So both twos
Love
for
it.
the team.
Like this spots.
Think they're gonna. I think there's a. You said it. The receivers are going off in this game. 7, I'll give you a little hope. Malik Neighbors, dude. I still like just his talent. Like I'm gonna put him in the top 10. He's got the talent there, and like I think they're gonna just find ways to work him in where he's gonna make plays. Might get in the end zone this week too.
Hope so, man.
6, Amon-Ra, exactly where you had him. This dude's gonna get right. He's gonna be all right. 5, I got CeeDee Lamb. 4, I got Drake London. 3, I got Jamar Chase. 2, A.J. Brown, and 1, I got Jay Jettas.
Yeah, I mean,
if you were to do it, he'd be right up there.
I feel really confident about JJ too. I just took the Addison touchdown on Thursday because I just when it's big games like that, look, like Matt's really confident in like the favorite scoring on like those big games, and like sometimes it works, but like I'd rather go for like the one-off guy that has a little bit better odds. And like honestly, Addison hasn't scored the past 2 weeks. When he first came back, like he was really involved. Like I expect him to like get one on Thursday, and the Rams second, he's better than the Rams second corner, like no doubt in my mind. So
for sure.
I feel really confident about that. I do have like a couple of teams that I want to share. I feel confident in Houston, the Jets, Tampa, Seattle, and Dallas this week. Those are the teams that I'm sitting pretty with. I don't know if you have anything to add in on a betting standpoint.
Jets, Eagles, Bengals over. Those are my 2 favorite ones this week so far. So it's 47.5 is the over/under. I think that's going to be a lot. I actually
maybe
do
Seattle,
like
Buffalo too.
Seattle, Buffalo, I think is going to be a big game. I actually like the Eagles to beat Bengals this week, though.
Wow,
I do.
I teased. So I took like I took whatever the crowns were on DraftKings. I turned that into like a 20-legger for like 700, and I teased the Bengals line to them. I think they were -3. I don't know what it is.
2.5.
Yeah. I teased them up to like +4.5. So like I feel pretty confident even if they lose that they can like.
I think it'll be close.
Yeah.
I just think the difference maker is going to be the fact that listen, they're pretty even in the receiver. Like, do I think Jamar Chase is better than
breath,
AJ
buddy?
Brown? Quick hiccup there. Do I think Jamar Chase is better than AJ Brown? Yes, but AJ Brown's very close. Devonta Smith, T. Higgins. I actually think Devonta Smith's a little bit better than T. Higgins, but again, they're pretty close.
Absolutely.
The difference maker is going to be Saquon. While I like Chase Brown, I like Zach Moss. They don't sniff Saquon's jock, dude.
Yeah,
like they just don't. Same. I don't trust their defense as well. Like even though that the corners in Philly have just been consistently getting cooked year in and year out now, other than Slay sometimes now, damn Taylor Britt is like. He's just not going to do it.
No.
He's just not.
Definitely not. Since the Sandbox fans, we'll be back next week with the power rankings, Twan.
And I promise you'll be jacked up for this one.
No, I'm really excited. I think, fantasy football is really heating up. I mean, it's go time, like in your leagues. Like I know if you're in like a 2-3 win boat, like you're looking at your seedings, you're trying to find out your ways to win. And sometimes, like, you have a roster and, like, it just doesn't equate to wins. Like, my Sandbox League, I have Jaden Daniels, JT, Breece Hall, Travis Etienne, Jaden Reed. Like, and my team just can't scrape wins. Like, I don't know what it is. And, like, I'm not going to trade my guys for worse guys. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm
Same position I'm in. People are trying to trade for Bowers because I'm 3-4. I'm like, dude, I'm looking at my lineup. It's like... It's Jaden Daniels, it's Kenneth Walker, it's Brian Robinson, it's James Cook, it's Jaden Reed, Zay Flowers, Garrett Wilson. I'm like, and Brock Bowers. I'm like, dude, I ride it out. I'm going to ride it out. The wins will string together.
Absolutely. So, feel confident, but the trade deadlines are coming up. If you guys have questions, make sure to ask the question in the description or come over to Instagram. A lot of people talk to us on Sundays, but you guys know the deal. Peace, love, 5 stars, nothing less.